Portions of this show are recorded. Strap in and be prepared.
You just heard Baby J, about 3 minutes, give his entire A to Z on what was going on. I didn't interrupt you.
I don't even I got to everything, honestly.
No, you didn't get to everything.
Interesting guests.
Kelly Graves, Mike Parker, Josh Pate, Melissa Lombardi, Yogi Roth, who said that Justin and I are smart.
Sharp opinions.
I can see Dan Lanning sitting in his office, rubbing his hands together and saying, yeah, bring it on. You're just giving me juice.
I think you could be the type of team that has guys that excel in certain things. You don't need somebody that's great at everything. You need to be able to put guys in position where they're going to succeed.
And some smiles.
Is this thing on?
Is this thing working?
working?
No, that's why you got to do this. You got to go.
Hello?
Hello. Testing. Testing.
It's like the little
testing.
girl in Nemo where she's tapping on the glass.
Fishy. Fishy. Wake up, Fishy.
It's Danny Havel.
We have to be more specific. We have a lot of pickle things going on, apparently.
Justin Grossweiner.
It's a Schwar bomb. That's a man right there hitting that ball.
Danny and Justin starts now on Fox Sports Eugene and Newport.
Hello, neighbors, and welcome high atop the Delta Triad, the Crystal Palace. From the Bigfoot Beverages Studios in Eugene and Newport, this is the Danny and Justin radio program. Thanks for tuning in, friends, neighbors, Romans, countrymen. It's game day. It's game day on many fronts through the weekend. We'll talk football, a lot of football today, but we have Yogi Roth coming up. I want to talk Oregon women's basketball as they had a big matchup, undefeated matchup. Oregon and Army, the Black Knights coming in, one of the military academies coming in to see the Ducks. So we'll talk about that. We'll have our Big Bets segment. I didn't cough through the opening, which Justin is very happy about. I am Danny Havel. Right over there is my tag team partner, Justin Grossweiner. We call him Baby J. What up, boy?
Yes, I was definitely not going to comment on that or anything.
No, I'm fine
I was
with
lending
it.
you my ears, though.
I-
Do you get it?
I did get that. I listened to the Open yesterday again. My wife was almost in tears laughing listening to that game. It was.
I was also almost in tears laughing. It was a great start to the show.
If you didn't hear yesterday's Open, I got to the first part of it where I do my silly little thing at the front, and then I started talking about where and what we were, and I broke down coughing. I don't know why.
And usually you're pretty good about it because
take a breath.
It's a little skill here on the radio to be able to.
My old theater training where it's the diaphragm. You take that big deep breath.
It's have you seen that YouTube video, Chocolate Rain? And he's like, "You've never seen Chocolate Rain? I cannot believe this. Oh my God. Okay, well you're not gonna get the reference then. But he does this thing where it's this funny music video basically.
Okay.
And he does this thing where he on the camera turns his head off screen and breathes. And he's like, but he comments on it. It's this funny thing. So you won't get the reference.
Okay.
I'll show you a video. You'll get it afterwards.
The governor, Yogi Roth, is going to join us. We're going to break down. We're going to do a quick segment here at the top. Then we're going to get Yogi on because we need to have enough time for big bets. So Goose will be in the studio. The Goose is on the loose here in the studio. We'll have the guys from KoKwel, Brian and Sean. And the host reigned supreme last week. You picked the games this week.
It was a bit tough this week, honestly.
So you asked me for one opinion. I gave you my opinion. You went with my choice as well, but pretty good games. But there's a few games.
On paper they're good, but the matchups themselves are not super close.
So here's what we want you to do as well: is we want you to go to Bigger Bets with a number 1 on Twitter. The games are up there. Pick the game. So just say the winners you want, and then the tiebreaker game, which is total points, which is BYU. TCU, you get entered into the contest with us as we're going to pick games. And if you beat our best record and the tiebreaker, then you win a 2-night stay at KoKwel Casino and $100 on your player's card. You can't use it for sports betting, but you can use it for slot machines, whatever you want there for the slots. And then you also get entered into a drawing for a Super Bowl suite for the Super Bowl Sunday, which is You get all the tailgate food and everything else, everything except alcohol is all going to be provided for you. So, and if we win, Justin, if us, the Brain Trust win, then it's $100 to South Coast Special Olympics from KoKwel Casino. So honestly, there is zero downside to this. We also have tickets to give away for the men's Civil War game on Monday. So Monday, but we'll give those away here in a few minutes. So the Oregon Man Clinics hotline is going to be what you want to dial into at 541-343-5673 in a moment. So I do want to talk about, so we've got the big game tonight. We're going to talk about a lot about that with Oregon, Minnesota, the only Friday night game for the Ducks after going on the road to Kinnick Stadium, getting the win at Iowa. They come back, short week, doesn't matter. Weather looks like it's going to be great. I'm in my shorts
today.
I'm in shorts always. If I could literally walk around in shorts and flip-flops all day long every day, which I do, honestly, how many times have you been to my house? It's 30 degrees outside. I'm still in shorts and flip-flops.
Well, we're from the Midwest, so
we're rugged people. I do want to talk about Kelly Graves' squad as the Oregon women's basketball team wraps up their season-opening homestand this Sunday. Army, in a battle of unbeaten teams. Army is 3-0. Last year, Army was 25-8, 14-4 in the Patriot League. This is a good team, and they return a lot of kids, and they're 3-0 this season. And, of course, Kelly Graves' squad, the big kahuna, 3-0 this year as well for the Ducks. 1-2 punch from the Ducks last time out. Mia Jacobs, Katie Fiso helped the Ducks knock out Grand Canyon, 84-66. Jacobs had a season-high 26 points, leading all players. She went 12 of 13 from the free throw line as well. Fiso scores a career-best 20 points to go with 10 assists, her second double-double in 3 games. Now, Lisa Mevius, unfortunately, had that devastating injury, so she's out for the season, but there's a lot of kids that can step up. So the Ducks, by the way, Army on Sunday at 2 p.m. It'll be Big Ten Plus, but we want you to pack MKA, please. Please, 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 please. Pack MKA at 2 p.m. on Sunday. Then they're on the road against Washington State on Wednesday the 19th at 4 p.m., then back home against Utah State. Then they're on the road for the next 3 to balance out November. And then they're back home against Oregon State in December, Civil War matchup on the 3rd and a 6 p.m. game. So, yeah, we got that going on. So, let's see.
Yeah, well, Oregon women's basketball schedule is really interesting because it goes, I mean, you know, they've had some pretty easy matchups so far. I think Army's another game, like you're kind of expecting another good win there.
Another good win.
Washington State,
both teams aren't ranked, but they're both 3-0. It's really early, really early.
I like their chances, is what I'll say, against Army. I think it just gets interesting, though, because then you have Auburn, Oregon State, UCLA. UCLA is number 3 in the country. And so that's
Avery Kane will maybe get some floor time. We'll see. Yeah. She plays herself into the lineup.
That's the 7th of December, so it's about 3 weeks away. So it's going to ramp up here very quickly.
Oregon has a 9-win improvement from 2024-25 from the previous season, which tied for the 13th best improvement in the nation. Oregon's defense is creating a steal, 21% on opponent possessions. That's the highest rate in the Big Ten and tied for 7th nationally, jumping out of the gate.
Well, they're going to have to because I think that's going to be the strength of their defense, is the perimeter defense.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so go help out the women's team Sunday at 2 p.m. And listen, you're going to be able to recover. It's going to be a big night tonight. It's going to be a late night tonight. It's going to be a late night for you. You've got game day, which is what, 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock.
With you and B Squared, Brian B-Ben, right here in the studio. So we're going to have 1 hour of the bald guy, and then you guys jump in. Right?
And then a post-game show, 10:30 to 11:30.
I'll be listening on my way home because I'm going to the game. Be there with your old club selling 50-50 raffle tickets.
Actually, it might be 9:30 to 10:30. 3.5 hours after the game.
When the game ends, tune in right here. We will have you covered. So, speaking of having you covered, let's open up the phones right now. Caller number 8, Woody will pick up the phone. We are going to send you to Monday night's matchup, Civil War men's basketball, Oregon State. The only time they meet this season will be Monday night. We're going to give somebody a pair of tickets. Call in number 8 right now on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline, 541-343-5673. We will have Yogi Roth, the governor. We're going to talk coaching. We're going to talk Oregon, Minnesota.
Governing. We're not. We're not talking governing.
And Big Bets coming up on the Danny and Justin radio program for a Friday.
Whether you're on the coast or in the valley, call Danny and Justin now and give us your take. 541-343-5673. You're listening to Danny and Justin on Fox Sports Eugene and Fox Sports Newport. Keep these guys focused on local sports, would you?
I'm trying, Jennifer.
If not, all you hear is talk about the Cubs and Packers. You're listening to Danny and Justin on Fox Sports Eugene and Fox Sports Newport.
The Danny and Justin radio program here for Friday as we go back to the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673 and welcome back our good friend, the governor from Big Ten Network. It's Yogi Roth. Yogi, you're staying, I think you are. Are you staying dry inside? Because it's not going to be the weather tonight for Iowa USC or tomorrow for Iowa USC.
I know. It usually never rains in Autzen, but I feel like we need to say that at the Coliseum this weekend. But yeah, no, it is crazy rain expected and anticipated and already started late last night. Like I was cleaning my gutters just to be safe here in California. So it is unique because there's so many stakes in the game that you referenced I'll be calling, right? Like both teams ranked in the top 25 in the CFP. Obviously, SC, I think they're one of the few teams that actually control their future. If they do win out, I think it's going to be hard for the committee not to put them in.
Yeah.
And the weather, I think, plays probably into Iowa, just in terms of how they play the game and just the physicality, running the ball, slow play the clock, all those things. So we'll see. Like I'm excited for it. LA hasn't had a game like this with this type of impact. You could argue since the pandemic and the Pac-12 champ game, but nobody went to. It's been a long time. Caleb, when he had it going, and he kind of won the Heisman against Notre Dame, that was big, but there was no playoff run necessary. Because they ended up losing the Pac-12 championship game. But this is big time right now in LA.
You can follow Yogi a couple of different ways on Twitter, Yogi Roth or Y Option, which I'm subscribed to. You can get some great stuff right into your inbox and watch all the content that Yogi puts out every week. It's a great watch and it's a great listen. Yogi, I want to ask a question first about overreaching in college football, and then we're going to dive into Minnesota and Oregon, as Oregon will definitely be watching that USC game tomorrow night because that definitely has an impact on them, especially with the Trojans coming into town next week. But I don't think I can remember a time at this point in the season where there are so many big-time college football head coach openings. And it just got me thinking, is this what we're going to now expect moving forward? Have administrations and fan bases and donors lost so much of the patience factor because they want immediate, we got to get in the college football playoff. We got to stay relevant every single year. Their names got to be out every single week. Is this what we're going to expect now?
I don't think so. I really don't. I can't tell you how many athletic directors I've talked to that echo the sentiment of, like, what is going on in the business. So, no, I think there's a lot of lessons being learned here. I'd be curious to see if contracts start to shift. Because what's happening now is openings come, you can get leveraged, right? And in a good way. Like, I'm all for everybody getting theirs. But that's what I see happening, right? Whether it's an extension, more money, more resources. I mean, that's just kind of part of the game right now. And due to the amount of, like, big-time job openings, talking about LSU and Auburn and Penn State. I mean, these are jobs that you don't ask them, like, do you have the money? It's what do you need, how much, and when you need to buy. Like, it's just different. And that's kind of the world we're in. So I think what it's doing, if I'm reading between the tea leaves per se, every athletic department is trying to get ahead of it. Where do we stand? What's our truth? What's our reality? Okay. And then hopefully with, these new rules that come in, it just gives somewhat of a clearer picture. Like, what does it take to be a contender? And I think right now, you heard Lane Kiffin say it earlier this week. I've heard other people say it throughout those stops throughout the season of you need the money. You need money to be able to compete at the premium level. And I don't know if everybody has that. I don't know. Like, I think that's what we'll find out. I know that everybody doesn't have like $50 million to buy somebody out. And I also know that athletic departments don't want to do that. I mean, it's not a good look for being blunt. Like, it's not a good look for the state if you're a state school. It's not a good look for the campus if it's the highest paying employee. And it's not good for your program. We'll see what happens at Penn State. Like, how many players leave? Obviously the graduation, but do they go with James Franklin? Like, it is a reset. That's why I think what Jed Fish has done at Washington is so impressive. I mean, it was, I don't want to say to the studs, but they had one starter returning when he took the job over and 7 offensive linemen. Like in this new era. And I don't think ADs want to go through that. So, the flip side of that is, well, if we're going to fund a program, so much more on top of rev share, which is like the, non-rev share NIL, which is clearly a part of the deal. If I'm a big-time donor, like if I don't want to fund it because I'm a pseudo-owner of the team, then make a change. And that's probably the rub that's happening, I think, at times with some of these changes.
Let's dive into Minnesota and Oregon. We've been kind of tracking how teams have been kind of playing Oregon. Obviously, Indiana had a really great game plan against them. I feel like Wisconsin and Iowa plays their own game, but kind of similar type of game plan against Oregon. What do you think Minnesota's game plan is going to be to win this game?
Well, I'll say this. I had heard about PJ Fleck for a long time. One of my roommates in college played with him with the Niners. So 20 years ago, they were telling me about PJ Fleck. Then finally got to meet him last year, called a bunch of their games, had a handful of them this season. They're as well coached of a team as you're going to face.
Okay.
Point blank. Clock management, situational football. They're going to maximize every snap, every rep, every situation, all 3 phases of the game. If PJ will have them ready to go. So let's just start with that. Like, they won't come in and be intimidated. I think even going to Iowa this year, where in the first quarter they give up an offense, defensive, and special teams touchdown, and it's over. I don't expect that tonight. I don't think they'll be shocked. But what they do also know their deficiencies, in my opinion, or whether that's parts of the offensive line, whether that's the back end not necessarily being able to match up with some of these guys, their tight ends, so they'll play to that strength. And both coordinators, Danny Collins is a riser. Their offensive coordinator, Greg Harbaugh, it's spelled Harbaugh, but it's Harbaugh for pronunciation guide purposes. I think they're big time. It is true game plan stuff. They're not just going to run out and run their system regardless of what you do. They're going to attack certain things. And their quarterback, Drake Lindsey, is a real one. Like, he's a redshirt freshman, so he's still going through things for the first time, but I think he's really talented. I think in 2 years he'll be at the top of the food chain in the Big Ten Conference at that position. So how will they attack you? They'll try to control the ball. I'd expect probably a little bit of QB run, just to keep you honest. They'll get the ball out quick because they know they're going to have to against the Oregon defense. And then defensively, that'll be the fun part. Do they try to heat up Dante? They got an edge rusher who's really gifted, number 6. You'll see him. He's just a really gifted player. And then number 14, Kerry Brown, he's their best guy in the back end. He'll play the nickel. He'll be around the tight ends, slot receivers. So they'll play fast. They'll play hard. They'll scheme up things. They'll come after you and be aggressive on third down. I expect it to be a really competitive game. And then for Oregon, can they just lean on them? And I think if I was calling it, that's what I would start the game with. Like, this isn't about just explosive plays. This is, can our O-line do what we did last week? Can we run for 260 plus like we did against this Iowa defense that I think is pretty formidable? Like, that's where I would go if I was Will Stein in this Oregon offense. And then look up in the third quarter and you're up 3 scores because you've just out-executed them.
And, of course, Oregon missing a number of key players, DeCorian Moore, Kenyon Sadiq. Alex Harkey was gone from that last game as well. Who do you think is the most important guy that they need to get back from an injury to 100%?
That's a great question. I don't know that answer if I, in terms of just saying one guy. I think Kenyon Sadiq is just such a unique player. I mean, he's so unique in terms of he can line up everywhere, and I think he just makes you prepare for so much. He's the most dynamic tight end, I think, in America, and it's hard to even call him that. He's H-back. He's trying like the truest version of when that position title came about, of lining in everywhere, motioning. Will Stein is so creative. So I'd probably say him. It was nice to see those other receivers step up. Watching the game back, and I've probably watched the game 3 times just prepping for Iowa SC. And they're winning at the line of scrimmage, and they're going up against a defense that in Iowa, they know their scheme, you could argue, as well as anybody in college football. They've been running the same thing for over 27 years. So that stood out to me as a big takeaway, especially late in the game when they kind of got to have situations. And even it was a slant to the left, and I forget who it was, but somebody runs like a little rub route to open him up, but he makes sure that he doesn't hit the DB. And he kind of spins around to make sure he avoids the contact because it would have been called for a flag. Like those little things, when you're talking about the second and third teamers at receiver, that stood out to me, and it just echoes how well they're coached.
Yogi Roth, the governor, joining us on the Oregon ManClinks hotline. You can see him on the Big Ten Network, and he's got Iowa USC this week, and we're talking Oregon, Minnesota, and overall what we're going to see tonight at Autzen Stadium. So, Yogi, coming back from an injury, and we talked about, a couple of those that are out there, and there's some rumblings now. Evan Stewart, who tore that patella, way back last year, or actually beginning of this year, and he's listed as questionable. My question to you is this: after, because you were a former athlete as well, is coming back from an injury like that, is half the battle or more than half the battle the mental aspect of it, to be able to trust that that's not going to happen again and to be able to go at full speed?
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I always say this line, like, it's one thing to be cleared. It's another thing to be clear between the ears. And I think that's just the truth. So for a wide receiver, and I don't remember which knee it was, let's just say it's his left for sake of argument, do you want to line up on the right and only run in breaking routes? When you're running out breaking routes, do you want to line up only on the left? Like, those are parts that, especially as a wideout, and especially if it's wet, which this time of the year, like it is that in Oregon. I think those are real thoughts. But I know Dan Lanning well enough and that program well enough, like, they're going to test him out every which way. Because here's the deal, like these last three games, including tonight, it could be 3 snaps that are the difference. And how many times have we seen, wide out slip, pick six go the other way, momentum change? I mean, it happens every weekend in college football. It could happen, to the Ducks against the Trojans, against Washington. So they'll make sure if they're going to put him out there that he's ready. And the thing that's great about college football now, as you know, is that it's like season 2.0 coming up. So if the Ducks are able to, get a win tonight and win out, I mean, they'll find themselves hosting a playoff game. And now we're talking about another month, right? I think a month from, right around where we sit today is when the first round would be. So they would have so much more time to heal. And I think that's really cool because, you give players, that's why nobody's ever really listed out for the season anymore, unless it's an ACL, because they're like, the season's so long, they might be able to make it back.
Right. A couple more questions for you, Yogi, and then we're going to let you go because I know you're busy getting ready for tomorrow night's matchup with Iowa USC. I keep going back to this as well because of all the injuries that have hit the Ducks this year, especially on the offensive side of the football. And I probably know how you're going to answer this, but I still want to throw it out there. Do you trust how Will Stein, Dan Lanning, this staff, and the players can adjust to a style that they would like to play versus a style that they kind of have to play because of who is going to be on the field in the personnel groupings? Because it does change. If you take Decorian Moore out of the picture or Dylan Gresham out of the picture or Kenyon Sadiq out of the picture, it is going to change. I know the next man up mentality is a nice thing to say, and it's true, but it does change how you call a game. And so my question is, can this Oregon team, if they don't get any of those players back fully healthy, can they play a style of offense that can keep winning football games?
Yeah, for sure they can. I think when you have those playmakers, those really unique ones, I think sometimes, I don't want to ever say that it's going to help you, but it's going to pare down some of your exotics.
Okay.
It's going to pare down some of your, let's just say trade motion for Kenyon Sadiq. And that's, there's 4 words for Dante Moore and 3 things for, another 3 seconds for the offensive line to hold their water on. Like, I think that'll be all right. You go back and you go watch this Iowa game again. And I think in these weather type games, you get to the identity of who teams are. And whether it's the Big Ten or any league, like you have to win with your offensive front and your defensive front. I just believe that the more and more I watch, and especially these premier teams, whether you're watching Alabama or Ohio State, like that's just the truth. Like, can you dictate some terms? And yes, it'd be nice to have Decorian Moore streaking down the sideline or give him an end around or find some sort of double move where you can create an explosive play. Like I get that, and that's part of championship football. That's part of what you got to do against, call it Ohio State, call it Indiana. Like you need some of those plays. I mean, the truth still lies of explosive plays and turnovers still dictate, I'd argue, over 90% of wins. So yes, you need that, but at your core, you can't just count on that. That's where I think actually like SC's made their biggest stride. They're the only team in America averaging over 300 in the air and 200 in the ground, and it's kind of gone unnoticed. How well they've played with 6 different offensive lines this season. I'd say the same thing for the Ducks. Like with those players out, it kind of forces you to go back to your day one install, and that's where I think Will Stein is really seasoned. He's been calling plays for a long time, whether it's high school or this level. And I know it's like a crazy comparison, but the repetition of calling it, the more and more I've been doing this year has kind of been a theme of mine of like, all right, for play callers, would you rather hire someone from somebody's staff who they've learned from, or somebody who's just been calling plays forever? They have all these banked reps. They always say at Oregon, time on task. And, there's an argument for both. But I think when you have lost parts of your scheme and your system and things you've counted on that can create big explosive plays, and especially in the Big Ten, win in matchups, it forces you to go back to say, all right, what do we do best? And that's what I love. Like, they'll go back to their best stuff, and, Will Stein's not afraid to call it time and time again and go back to the well, which I think is always a sign of a very confident coordinator in what you're doing. So, yeah, I don't think it's huge. I think if they were playing Ohio State this weekend, yeah, it'd be different.
Yeah.
You'd feel that with, Carnell Tate not playing like last weekend. You felt that, and Jeremiah Smith elevated. Well, if those two weren't playing, it would be a different conversation within what that offense would probably want to go attack.
All right, Governor, have a great call tomorrow night. And again, you'll be dry. You don't have to do the sideline thing. You're going to be upstairs in the booth.
God.
Yeah. Follow Yogi Roth, the Y option as well on Twitter and the Big Ten Network. Yogi, thanks for the time.
Yeah, hey, I think your listeners will enjoy. Just had Gary Danielson on, and he talked about calling some of the Duck games. So
awesome.
He's a great man, and it's kind of the twilight of his career. So it's a fun listen. So thanks for the plug.
Absolutely. We always want to send them to your content, buddy. Take care.
All right,
All right, there he goes, the great Yogi Roth. Great, good insight. See, I was leading him into that last question. It's just like, I knew I was going to answer it. It's just, trust, what I always say, trust the staff, trust the room. That's what they're going to do. All right, when we come back, we still got big bets coming up, so we got to
run fun stuff.
Yeah, you picked the games this week. Let's see how good they are this week.
I feel okay about it.
Go to Bigger Bets as well and give us your opinion on who you think is going to win this weekend. Danny Justin rolls on. Goose in the studio next.
Broadcasting from the Bigfoot Beverages studio in Eugene and Newport.
The only vote Oregonians would risk prison over would be a vote to get Portland Trailblazer Damian Lillard into the MVP conversation.
You're listening to Danny and Justin on Fox Sports Eugene and Fox Sports Newport.
Big-time negotiations going on behind the scenes here on the Danny and Justin radio program. We're going to have our boys, Brian and Sean, hopping on here in a few moments. We're going to do big bets, so hang on for that. Congratulations and thank you. Randy Duke, you are headed to... Well, you already got him on?
Like magic.
Okay. I say it, and I speak it into existence. Brian, Sean, you guys are on the line from KoKwel. Hey, boys.
We are here. What's happening down there?
Is it down there or up there or across? So geographically, I think we're across, aren't we?
You drove there last week, Danny. How do you not know this? You were just
I'm
driving
down
there.
and up. So we are northeast from you, down there in Coos Bay, North Bend.
All right, we'll go with that.
Am I not
Not going to argue with you guys.
I don't know, but you drove it last week. You should know this.
You know, I really need to get control of this radio program. So first, I want to say thanks to Randy Duke, who's listening in Eugene. You got yourself a pair of tickets because you subscribe and listen to the Danny and Justin radio program. You're headed to Civil War, the only time Oregon and Oregon State will meet, unless it's in the postseason, this season. So it might be a couple of undefeated teams still. In fact, I don't think Oregon's got no. Oregon doesn't have another game. I don't think Oregon State's got another game until that. So they will be two undefeated teams meeting at Matt Knight Arena.
It was a good game last year, too.
It was a good game. And if you can tell me how many different countries, we might have another pair of tickets on Monday to give away. But if you can tell me how many different countries Oregon State players come from, That's going to be one of those trivia questions right now. Do not look at your phone, Goose.
I'm getting a phone call.
No,
I'm just
keep your
trying
phone
to...
up. Oh, you're looking at your
That's my
tickets
ticket.
for
That's my big ticket for tonight I was telling you about.
And
I'm
we
in the club.
Goose is coming in hot. He's going to be at the club tonight. He'll buy everybody a round of beverages if you find them at the OCCU club at Autzen Stadium tonight for Minnesota and Oregon. We'll do our big bets here in just a moment. We got our guys from KoKwel on the line as well. So, but again, thanks, Randy, for listening. And if you've missed any of our show today, please go back and pod us. Danny and Justin. You can find us on every single platform. Literally, if you type in Danny and Justin or the fastest 60 minutes in sports, wherever you're at, Odyssey, Amazon, Apple, Spotify, iHeart, whatever it is, you're going to find us there. Podverse, things I haven't even heard of. Don't want to know.
OnlyFans? Are you still on OnlyFans?
No. It's that, you know what? It's literally that whole, I don't know, did you ever watch the Pee Wee Herman movies at all? Come on now.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, yes or no?
Yes,
Goose?
yes.
Okay. So, Dottie, there are things you wouldn't understand. There are things you couldn't understand. There are things you shouldn't understand.
And those things became much more numerous as the years went on. But anyway, back to sports.
Yes, they did. All right. So thanks, guys, for hanging on the Oregon Bank-Analytics hotline. You're going to have your chance, fans, to hop in and zoom into us as Baby J picked the games this week. So here's how it works, folks. Although I do want to get your opinion. We'll probably be able to do that in the last part of the program on this whole Minnesota-Oregon game. And we've been debating back and forth on the path for Oregon to possibly get into a Big Ten championship game, and the road really starts and continues tonight. Oregon wins out. They literally control their own destiny. And then I think there are going to be a lot of Oregon fans very interested in the Michigan-Ohio State game in the last weekend of the season when Oregon's up at Husky Stadium in Seattle taking on Washington.
A lot of Ohio State fans are going to be very interested in that game, too, because they're not happy about losing every year, even when they win national titles. So.
Right.
So
it's been a few years since they've won that one.
And there's also an internal debate between Justin and I about, does Oregon even want to go? I think there's value. Always a player and a competitor wants to go and win the championships. But there's maybe value in not going to the Big Ten championship game, as what was evidenced last year with Oregon. And I'm not saying that was a factor in all of it, but getting another weeks of rest, especially with the way the receiver room is banged up right now. So there's word out that DeCorian Moore, possibly Gary Bryant Jr., not going to play tonight. But we'll see. Kenyon Sadiq. We'll see. The injury report, what do you say, Justin? It comes out like 2 hours before.
So, for the game.
So when you're on game day, you're going to have the injury report.
We'll get you that info right away.
So stay tuned right here after the bald guy gets 1 hour. We're going to give him 1 hour today. It'll be B Squared and Justin with the game day program. You want to lock into that, especially if you're traveling. They're going to get you all the traffic updates, which I know you enjoy, the traffic updates. All right. So here's how the big bets work. We pick games. We have 5 games. We're not worrying about the point spread, although we'll tell you the point spread. We're just going to go straight up and down. And our best record goes against your best record. So you, the fans, either through Bigger Bets on Twitter, or you can call in at 541-343-5673 in the last part of the program. We'll take as many calls as we can get in. If you beat our best record, and you also have the tiebreaker in there, which is going to be total points of the BYU-TCU game, little sneak peek, you win a 2-night stay with $100 on a player's card. You can't use it for sports betting. You got to be 21 or over, and you cannot have won in the last 30 days, and also you can't have won big bets in this quarter. I know that's a lot of stuff you got to assimilate here. But if you also do win, you also get entered into a drawing that we're going to do at the end of December for a Super Bowl party. A stay in a suite. They're going to line you out with all the tailgate food. Doesn't include alcohol, but everything else is going to be provided for you to watch the Super Bowl down there. That's pretty cool. All right, so.
I'll take it.
You would? All right. Boys, you ready?
Yeah, I tell you what. Let's have a little fun with this too. Instead of just anybody who calls in and beats us getting into that drawing for the Super Bowl suite. Let's put everybody who calls in into that drawing for the Super Bowl suite. Then we get more people have a chance to come up here and check out one of our best suites and best place to actually watch that game.
Look at that.
All right.
Wow.
I like that.
Boy.
I'm going to leave and go call in and not be part of the show so I can be eligible for that.
So I'm just going to tell you, though, right now, Coach Mark and Brad are now like, oh, my gosh, you have diluted our opportunities. But that's okay. You know, that's why we are in control of the program. All right, so do we do our big bets?
We didn't do. You want me to do the open?
No, it's all right. It's
Felt
all
like
right.
we
already
kinda went
did the
past it.
music. Yeah, we did. All right, here's the first game, boys. Baby J again picked the games this week, so I have no responsibility in this. But he
Well, I
picked some
picked
pretty
games
good.
that really exist. So.
Excuse me?
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Wow. The gauntlet's thrown out. All right, first game, Louisville-Clemson. Louisville's a 2.5-point favorite. Louisville's the home team. Justin, you may start with this.
Okay, well, first of all, it's actually they're down to a 1.5-point favorite, and that game is actually on in about an hour and a half, a little less than 2 hours. So that one's coming up pretty quickly. You know, I'm not going to pick Clemson. I'm going to go with Louisville.
Okay. Goose?
Yeah, that seems like a really weird line to me. I'm not a gambler, so maybe the folks who run those lines know more than me, but that seems like Louisville wins that one.
So here's what's interesting to me, and we're going to swing it to the guys at KoKwel in a second. If there's a home team that's any less than a 3-point favorite, to me it's a pick'em game. So somebody knows something. I was on Dabo Island last weekend, and it worked for me. I was the only one to pick Clemson.
Good call.
And I know that's why you picked this game, because you want to goad me in. Louisville's coming off a bad loss.
Horrible
loss. So at home, I don't know if I can go against the Cardinals, so I'm going to go with Louisville. I'm going to go with you boys. All right. Sean and Brian, what say you at KoKwel?
What do you say, Sean?
We're going to have to make it an all Louisville sweep here. We're going with the Cardinals.
I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised.
Can I change my?
I was just thinking the same thing. I wish sometimes we
Do
could,
we have the opportunity to change?
That's
now?
where it's nice to hit cleanup. Sometimes when you're hitting cleanup, it's nice.
Nah, not going to do it. All right, we just talked to Yogi Roth a minute ago. He's going to be on the call of USC and Iowa. It's going to be probably a monsoon. There's already flash flooding going down in L.A. USC, a 6.5-point favorite at home against Iowa, who's smarting off the loss to Oregon. Goose, we're going to start with you.
Despite the Iowa weather, give me the Trojan talent.
Okay, USC. I don't know if I can go against USC at home, so I'm going to take the men of Troy. Boys at KoKwel, what do you think?
I'll tell you what, we have a pattern we're going to use here, and you're going to figure it out in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and take USC in this one. I like the record a little better.
All right.
Well, I don't want to do this, but I think I
Go
also
ahead,
have to
do
take
it.
USC.
I
think I have to.
This
I
is
think they're a
so
better team.
boring. This
I
is
know.
boring radio.
Bad
This was going to be
radio.
good games.
Everybody on USC, everybody on Louisville. All right, Duke, Virginia, another trap game for me. Duke at home, 5.5-point favorites against the Cavaliers. And boys down there in Coos Bay, we're going to start with you.
This would be a great basketball game, but we're going to go with the Blue Devils in this one.
All right, going to go with Duke. Justin?
Well, I'm for chaos in the ACC. There is a path where the ACC does not make the college football playoff, and that path goes with Duke winning the ACC. So I'm rooting for it, so I'm going to go with Duke as well.
Way too much hand-holding here. Give me Virginia.
So you're going to love this.
Very brave of you.
You're going to love this. Chandler Morris, I don't know if he's going to start for Virginia at quarterback or not.
I know, God. Oh, Danny's going to do the whole, hey. I'd love to know from the guys at KoKwel, if somebody comes to your sports book and says, hey, if this quarterback starts, I'm betting on this team, and if this quarterback starts, I'm betting on this team. Do you guys take that bet?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. I think we follow all KoKwel rules here. So, Danny, make a pick.
I am going with you, Goose, and I'm going to go with the Cavaliers of
All right.
Virginia.
Awesome.
There we go. So we're split.
Yes.
Duke for KoKwel and Baby J. Goose and I have Virginia. Georgia and Texas. Big time college football playoff implications here. Georgia at home is a 6.5-point favorite, and Baby J, you start us off.
I just don't see it with Texas. I can't. I look at them and I can't believe they're ranked at 10. So I think that Georgia's going to finally do it and knock them out of the playoff hunt.
Okay, I'm also going to go with Georgia at home. I'm good with them. I bet on Texas a couple of times, and they've failed me literally every single time. Goose.
Hook 'em.
All right.
Really? Okay. All right. Brian and Sean. Goose says Texas. Baby J and I say Bulldogs. What say you?
I think we're going to have to go with the home team, and we're going to be rocking with the Bulldogs this time.
Yeah, we don't know which version of Arch you're going to ever see in the game, so we're just going to go with the
Great points. Goose seems confident.
I know. Again, I'm just tired of holding your guys' hand here. I don't want us to all be like kumbaya.
No, I agree.
We should have some punches thrown here.
All right, get ready on the Oregon Man Clicks hotline with your bets at 541-343-5673. We'll line them up and knock them out here in the last 10 minutes of the program. Last game is Brigham Young, who's smarting after they got smacked last weekend. And they're up against the Horned Frogs of TCU, but they're at home and a 3.5-point favorite. This is also our tiebreaker game. So, guys, I need whoever's going to win and the total points between the two teams. And, Goose, we start with you.
All right. Well, when you start, you can't, do something that the others didn't. So I have to go with what I want, which is BYU.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you an over-under of 33.
You've been on the unders. You've been on the low end of things.
Because you guys are always up at 40s, 50s. Just give me something low.
60. All right. So
I don't want to play prices right with you.
Brian, Sean, what say you at KoKwel?
Well, here's what I think. BYU's got a little better rounded team, a better record. Yeah, they got beat, but I have to stick with our pattern that we're running. If you haven't figured it out, we're going all home teams this pick, so we're going to go BYU. And Sean, what do you think that score is going to be?
Let's go with a nice 51.
A nice 51. Not a round number, but we'll take it nonetheless. Baby J.
I'm also going to go with BYU, unfortunately, but I will go with a higher number than that. I'm going to go with a 64-point total.
See, I hate this. Should I? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be contrarian here. I am also going with BYU. I've been riding them all year. I'm going to split the difference, though, and I am going to go with 52 points.
So you and Baby J, same on everything?
No.
Not quite.
Justin's got Duke, and I've got Virginia. Otherwise, we're all matched up. So, all right. I think it's pretty solid. So we're all on BYU. So there are a lot of same picks for this round of big bets. And let's head right on over to the Oregon Man Clicks hotline at 541-343-5673. And a first-time caller to the program, Chris from Junction City. How you doing there, buddy?
Pretty good. How's it going, guys?
We're doing really well. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right, Louisville, Clemson.
Give me Louisville.
Okay, you're right on path with all of us. USC-Iowa.
All right, Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. He's on Hawkeye Island, Chris,
Right.
out there in Junction City. Duke, Virginia.
Let's go with the Cavaliers.
Virginia, thanks. That's a great
call.
bet. Goose and I like that. Georgia and Texas.
Georgia.
Okay, well, you're with the majority there. And then the final game, BYU and TCU.
Yeah, I got to go with BYU on that one.
Okay, and give me total points, bud.
59.
59. Thanks for listening. Thanks for participating. We got your information, right?
Awesome. Yep.
All right. Thanks, man. Take care. Go Ducks, I guess.
Thank you. Go Ducks.
Look at that, man. We got new callers coming in. Maybe
No,
this is
Woody,
great.
Woody's going to march down the hallway when I say go Ducks. Come on, man. I'm the vice president of the O Club. You can't keep me contained. All right, so the phone lines open up at 541-343-5673. We got time for as many calls as we can get in before about 55. So, real quick, Minnesota, Oregon tonight. PJ Fleck's team comes in, not great offensively. They're almost kind of like an Iowa. They can throw a little bit more than Iowa does, though.
I looked at their schedule, and it's amazing. They're going to go 8-4 this year. They're going to have 7 wins over bad teams. Nebraska's their good win. They have 5 wins over bad teams right now, and after tonight, I think they have Wisconsin and somebody else, which gets me on a tangent about how scheduling the Big Ten. But anyway. Every team they've played that's good has, other than Nebraska, who I still think is decent, has crushed them. So I think it's an Oregon blowout tonight.
Okay, well, there you go. From the mouth of Goose to the heavens. Let's head back over to the Oregon Man Clicks hotline at 541-343-5673. It's our good buddy Brad. Brad, you ready to go, my man?
Yes, I am, and I'm against other people being added to the drawing.
We knew you would be. All right, Brad, you still can defend your honor here. Louisville, Clemson.
Clemson.
There we go. We got one.
Oh, man, you are the lone guy on Clemson. All right, USC-Iowa.
Iowa.
Oh, another. Okay, so you're there with Chris with Iowa. Duke, Virginia, buddy.
The Cavaliers, Virginia.
Attaboy, great bet. Georgia, Texas.
I'm going Texas again.
Yeah.
They've come through and let me down, so I'm going to go Texas.
All right, BYU, TCU, and then give me total points.
BYU, and what's the highest
here
leader
it is.
in the clubhouse?
The highest in the clubhouse is Baby J with 64.
I'll do 66.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
By the way, Brad going 4 road teams there. So he's the anti-KoKwel who decided to go 5 home teams.
That's right. Thanks, Brad. Thanks for listening, bud. We appreciate you.
Totally. Go Ducks.
I can't say it. I'm already going to get yelled at when I get out of the studio. I'm going to try and skulk down the hallway. All right, the phone line is open for you at 541-343-5673. Do we still have Brian and Sean on the line? Hey, boys.
Yeah, we're here. We're hanging.
So what do you think about this right now? I mean, I like our picks, but I really think that we got a good chance this week. The hosts.
We're gonna split records, man. I don't know. It's tough. This is not. People who think this is simple stuff. It's not. It's really not that simple out there, And either way, someone's gonna win, right? Either Special Olympics wins or the listener wins. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely, and we love your participation. And it was really nice meeting you guys the other week. It was a little frenetic, but you guys have come through for us. And I'm thinking, so my daughter and I watched The Hangover. My daughter's never watched The Hangover. We watched that last night for the first time together. And so I'm almost thinking there should be a Goose, Baby J, Danny road trip down to
Count me in. I'm in.
And maybe we do that.
Maybe for the final big bets on a Friday.
Maybe we should. All right, Roger from Eugene is on the phone. Roger, what's up, buddy?
How you doing?
Really well. You ready to pick some games?
Sure am.
All right, here we go. Louisville, Clemson.
Going with Clemson.
Okay, not sure I like that or not, but that's okay. USC, Iowa.
I'm a USC alum, so...
All right.
So Iowa, right? So we're going Iowa? US, go men of Troy. Duke, Virginia.
Duke,
that was pretty quick right there. He was shooting from the hip. Georgia, Texas.
Georgia.
BYU, TCU, and give me total points.
BYU, and I'm going with 53.
Oh, really? I am 52, and you're picking 53.
Yeah, that's why I picked 53.
Roger, you have just become my best friend. Not. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. There he goes, Roger. All right, we got a few
full
more
house today.
Yeah, it is. It's great. All right, maybe what, Baby J? Maybe one more call, one or two more calls.
Yeah.
We got Chris in. We got Brad in. We got Roger in. Randy Duke, congratulations. You're going to Civil War on Monday for men's basketball. So, by the way, I talked to Luke last night as well.
I talked to Luke yesterday.
I know. He said he had a very nice conversation with you.
Yeah.
A little insightful.
Someday I'll reveal a freelance story I'm writing about coming up, and maybe when I'm hosting with you next week. We'll
Are you going to be in next week for me?
I heard you're out.
I'm out Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm definitely in Wednesday, maybe Tuesday.
Okay.
I'll let you know for sure on Monday, but definitely Wednesday.
All right, here we go. Last caller. It's going to be Coach Mark, a P1 of the program. All right, Mark. I'm ready when you're ready. Louisville, Clemson.
I'm going to go Louisville.
Okay. USC, Iowa.
Give me Iowa in a dirty storm.
A dirty storm. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's going to be nasty down there.
Duke and Virginia.
I'll take Virginia.
Okay. Georgia, Texas.
Georgia.
Go Dogs. BYU, TCU, and total points.
I'll take BYU, and I'm going to say 67.
67. Wow, right on top of Brad at 66.
That was awesome.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you, bud.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there he goes. One of our P1s. All right, that's our big bets for this week. Thanks, boys. Thanks, Brian and Sean. Thanks for hanging in. We appreciate you.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
All right, there we go. So
we'll see you soon, guys. I think Danny's planning a trip.
So I can't reference The Hangover with my daughter when I say we're going down to Goose Bay. Especially if you've ever watched The Hangover in the first scene with Ken Jeong.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's memorable,
Very
to say
memorable.
the least. All right, let's do this.
A joke!
I got fired from the bank today. A woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her.
Dad jokes!
How does Darth Vader like his toast?
Something burnt. I don't know. Something burnt.
On the dark side.
That's burnt.
Yeah.
Very good.
Something about being burned. You're right.
Yeah, that's very good. All right, Monday on the program, we're going to have a lot of audio from both Oregon State, Oregon football from the weekend. We'll preview the Civil War matchup, all of that, and also high school football playoffs. The quarterfinal
100%.
round, we're going to have a lot of that, a lot of good games. So if you're not going to the Duck game tonight, if you're in the local area, go support high school football. Goose, nice job.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me in.
All right, Baby J.
Always a pleasure.
Well done again. All right, everyone who listened, God bless. Put a smile on your face. Someone else's. They deserve it. So do you. God bless. Peace.